Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, dear. So we'll be starting with the final topics which are left for the annual exams, which have not been covered till now. This is note making and abstraction. Can anybody tell me what is the weightage of this topic? How many marks is it supposed to come? Anyone
5 marks,
knows? No, it's not 5.
8,
Seven.
No, it is not even 7. Take another guess.
10, 8,
No, it is not even 10. Okay,
8,
more guesses. Excellent. It is 8 marks. Very good. Who guessed it?
Utkarsh.
But it is written.
Okay.
मैम
See,
फवाद
beta,
वेटिंग पे
actually, these 8 marks are distributed in a different manner, which I'll be sharing it with you very soon. 3 marks are for that summary thing, but that will be included in this part only because you'll be writing a summary of this passage only. So we actually include 5 plus 3 and we make it 8. Okay. Earlier we had it in class 12th. This year it has been introduced in class 11th recently. Till last year we were not doing this topic. Recently it has been introduced. Before I tell you anything about note making, children, okay? Have you ever prepared notes at home for other subjects? Physics, chemistry, biology.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
prepare
Yes,
notes for
ma'am.
yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you generally do? What do you generally do when you're preparing notes?
Ma'am, first we mark a serial number and then we write heading and afterward body starting.
Okay, this is his style of making notes. Everybody has a different style of making notes. So we are going to see how do we do note making in English. I don't want to put my ideas in your brain. I want you to be creative yourself. Okay. First, only read the first paragraph and the second paragraph. Okay, beta? Just the first paragraph and don't go for the marks limit. The book from which I've taken is last year's book. So there are certain changes in this. So don't go for marks distribution. I'll tell you what is going to be the marks distribution here. Okay. There are two parts of these questions. First is you have to make notes of the passage, and second is you have to make a summary of this passage. Here also, there are some change in word limit and marks that I'll tell you differently.
मैम
So what are
abbreviation
the things we'll be doing? Beta will be coming to it one by one. So what are the two main things you'll be doing with the passage which is given to you? First, you'll be making notes of the passage, and second, you'll be writing a summary of the passage. Again, I'm saying the marks distribution, you don't worry, don't go for this. I'll tell you what is a new pattern for this. Now we come to the main part, how to make notes. Just read this points very carefully, then let's discuss them. How to make notes. So this time it's 8 marks with different distribution. Hurry up, quickly read. What are the 7 things you need to do when you make notes? Never mind if you don't understand a particular word, that won't make any difference. Read beta. Then we'll relate it to an example. We'll relate it to an example. Audio's mics off, please. Right, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
First is careful reading of the passage. Read the passage carefully, underline the key sentences. So it'll give you help when you're preparing a title for your notes. So be very careful why we are marking these important things, because all the important things will make us decide the title of the passage. Second is the logical sequence. Okay, logical sequence means you have to keep in mind while preparing notes what is coming first, what is coming next. Format, we'll just discuss it with you. Headings, you have to find the main idea of the passage, central idea. Okay, so that accordingly you will be giving the headings. Then we'll come to subheadings, 2 headings or 3 subheadings, not more than 3. Avoid using, because some people feel the more we write, it will be better. So make subheadings, but then again I'm saying that subheading should be logical. It is not that just we want to increase the number, so we keep on making subheadings more and more. Then we have subheadings. If you want to give more details about the subheadings, we divide them more and they are known as subheadings. And the last is your indenting. All the subheadings and the subheadings are at the same level, should be written at the same distance from the margin. Now, all these things we are going to understand better gradually, because it is 8 marks. We'll do it very nicely. Read this. Points to be kept in mind very quickly. What are we reading in this topic? Points to be kept in. What are we reading, beta? Points to be kept in mind. Clear? What are the important things we should keep in mind when we are doing note making? This is what we are going to read, or what you
Here it
must have
is
read.
using that use symbols and abbreviation whenever it
The
required
notes
and
should be
provide.
short and to the point. First and the most important, notes should be short and they should be to the point. Next one, beta, very carefully. They should be written in points only, not full sentences. Listen very carefully. They should be written in points, not full sentences. They should be put one below the other and they should be numbered properly. I'll be showing you everything, don't worry. They should have all the important and the relevant information contained in the passage. Information should be systematically divided and subdivided. Use recognized symbols and abbreviations wherever required and give a key to the abbreviation used. I'll explain what is key to the abbreviation. The title to the passage should be very short. It should not be more than 3 to 4 words. See, this is very important. Title should be very short. It should not be more than 3 to 4 words and it should reflect the spirit of the passage. For example, normally the abbreviations used, let's go to this using abbreviations. Read the first and the second point. You'll understand everything. I'll relate it to one of the examples just now. See the usage of abbreviations and what is a key. Today we will not write anything. We will just see, observe, and only then later, next classes, we'll start writing, not now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, here it is written abbreviation. We can use that for science. We can use SC. Then we can use, ma'am, anything if that we want
You
to
can use
do.
anything, but provided you have to give the key, but it should be logical. It should not be very awkward. थोड़ा बहुत link तो होना ही चाहिए. It should not be कि anything and everything you are able to write. See, the first rule says use standard abbreviations as far as possible. मतलब, try your best to not to make your own abbreviations, if at all, but in all passages it is not possible, beta. Let me tell you this also. You may not get standard abbreviations in every passage. So if at all it is there, you can use. For example, USA, UK, ATM, MBA. Then common abbreviations used in newspapers and magazines. This is very common in newspapers and magazines, even in school. When we write class 11 science, we write 11th SC. Mr., Miss, Doctor, government, etc. These are very common symbols. Symbols of percentage, therefore, positive, negative, rising, falling, less than, more than. Measurements, also, you can use figures. Second is, if there are standard abbreviations in the passage, first make standard abbreviations, then make your own abbreviations. How to make own abbreviations? Keep the main sounds of the word. For example, education. So you can write it as EDN. Program, PROGM. We have taken the last words as well, removing the vowels. Remove all the vowels except the one which is the starting the word. See, beta, in education, we took the last letter N. Isn't it, beta? Are you able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In education, we took the last letter N, but in program, we did not take the last letter E. We took M. Why?
Ma'am, because E is a vowel.
Yes, E is a vowel. Listen again to this. Remove all the vowels except the one which starts the word. For example, education, it is starting with the vowel, so we have to use it. But in case it is ending with the vowel, then don't take that last word, last letter, sorry, take the second last letter. Retain the suffix so that the later when you're going over the notes, you may recall the full form of the word. See the example. If it is educational, we have written EDNL. Education, we had EDN. So we are not changing this. We just put L over here. Progressive, we cannot take E. So we have taken V. Because the last letter was again an E, it was a vowel. So we're going to exempt it. We've written it as PRGSV. A minimum of 4 abbreviations should be used. How many abbreviations minimum you should have?
4.
4. And
Four.
out of these 4,
Ma'am, in
try to
passage.
first look for standard abbreviations. But again, I'm telling you, in every passage, you will not find standard abbreviations. So then you have to make your own abbreviations. You have to be careful about these
Excuse
things.
me, ma'am.
Your notes, yes.
Ma'am, in abbreviation, we have to write a minimum only 4 in passage.
Minimum 4, not less than 4. Minimum 4 means you cannot write less than 4. That is what we are saying. Rest, when you'll come and see more examples, beta, you will understand. See the heading. Your note should look like this. Now see the next part. Subheading 1, how it has been divided into sub-subheads. Okay. How the heading has been divided into how many subheadings on your screen? See this one. Your heading is divided into how many subheadings, beta?
2.
2. And the subheading 1 is again divided into sub-subheadings. So I'm giving you 1 minute. Please say this. We'll be talking about the margin part also. Just see this part. We'll discuss about this. Observe very minutely. Okay, children, you must have seen something in this as well. We had a heading You'll give a heading, whatever heading is suitable for you according to the passage, which will have subheadings. And then as we discussed earlier, the subheadings will again have what? They will again have subheadings. Okay. This is how we are going to progress. So you had a heading, you had a subheading, point one. Okay. Then this, come to this. Okay. Let's move on to this. See this part. You will observe that indenting, that is shifting from the margin. We had used this word indenting earlier. Okay. Now tell me, what does indenting mean?
From the margin.
Space from the
Yes,
margin.
Peter.
Space from the margin.
Yes. So remember, indenting actually means we are shifting from the margin, has been used to clearly indicate the subheadings and the subheadings. We are going away from the margin. Like we had subheading 1. So 1 ka ABC. See this? We are shifting away from the margin according to the subheading. Sub point 1, sub point 2, whatever you are taking. Next thing, beta, subheadings, though separated by points, occur below one another. Such use of indenting gives your notes a visual character. See, subheading 1 is there, and then you have a subheading 2. Subheading 2 is just below the subheading 1. So at a glance, you can see the main idea and its aspects. So at one glance only, upar se niche, when you will see, you will get all the subheadings on your notes, on the headings only. Okay, now we come to the last part, that is abstraction or summarizing. This is a 3 marks out of 8 distribution which I had discussed with you in the present syllabus which has just come. We are supposed to have the summarizing of 3 marks. Now see, what things have you to keep in mind in summarizing. Then I'll take one passage and discuss these things with you. Just read points to be kept in mind while abstraction or summarizing. Okay, summarizing, I don't think it's a new word for you children. Making something concise, making it short, making a summary is what we call as summarizing. You're already aware of this thing. So what are the points you need to keep in mind when you're summarizing? Summary is made out of the notes, beta, not the passage. Most important thing. When you're preparing your summary, you will not refer to the passage. You will only refer to the notes. Then let's go further. See, beta. No point should be mentioned in the summary which is not included in the notes. Please do not include any point in the summary which you have not included in the notes, because that means it is not an important point. All important points were already noted when you are making a note making. And if you have to take something for summary, only take it from note making. Do not divide the summary into paragraphs. Only one paragraph should be used. The summary should be attempted immediately after the note making is completed. So first you'll do note making, that is 5 marks. I'll tell you the division of note making also. And then immediately you'll move on to summary, that is 3 marks. Do not start the summary like the passage talks about, or we can see from the passage, or the passage tells us. Do not start like this. Try to follow the order of the notes as far as possible. Like I told you when we were doing note making, go for synchronized orders. What should come first? So similarly, try to follow the same order and do not exceed the word limit which is given in the question. Is it okay for
Excuse me,
all?
ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, then how to start?
Beta, I have told you now, I'll be taking up an example very quickly. Don't worry about these things. Very quickly after
Okay,
we
ma'am.
read all these things, I'll take at least 2-3 sessions with you. Just explanation part, taking a lot of examples. Until you are not confident, we will not start writing. Don't worry. So this is how you do your summarizing. Very quickly, before I take up an example, I'll be asking you a few questions. Okay, like this. What are the 2 things? What are the 2 types of questions we have to do? What are the 7 things you need to keep in mind while note making? All these things. Just giving you 1 minute to go through this page. See, if you're thorough with all these points, if you know the concept, how to go ahead with this, you will certainly be able to do it very nicely. And don't worry at all, this is for Devansh and everybody else. I'll take a lot of passages. In the class only, we'll do note making. We'll practice how to do note making. You will just see and I will explain. Only then I'll give you how to do. Quickly go through the first page. Let me ask a few questions so that when you're doing, these things are there in your mind. Done, beta? Okay. What are the 2 types of questions which we have to generally do in these type of questions? First is making notes,
Making a summary.
summarizing. So according to the latest syllabus that you have, how many marks for note making beta and how many marks for summarizing?
For notes making, 5 marks, and for summary, 3 marks.
Okay. Now when we talk about note making, you'll be given a passage of about 200 to 250 words. Okay, listen carefully. Title will be 1 mark. Like you'll read the passage, you'll give a suitable title, that would be 1 mark. Okay. Next is numbering and indenting. Now you know what is indenting. So numbering and indenting is again going to be 1 mark. The key and the abbreviations are going to be 1 mark and the notes will be 2 marks. So this is the distribution of 5 marks. And your summary has to be written in 50 words. And here again, the distribution I told you 3 marks, content will be 1 mark and expression will be 2. Sorry, content is 2 marks, expression is going to be 1 mark. So 5 plus 3 makes 8. So what are the 2 types of questions? Everybody is clear now. Make notes of the passage. Fine. It will not be 400 to 450 words. It is changed for you. It is only 200 to 250 words. So this is the previous year book which I have picked up. So there's a change here. It's of course 8 marks, but not 400 to 500 words. It's 200 to 250 words only. And like they have told you 4 marks, it is not 4 marks. Making notes is 5 marks and summary is 3 marks. Got the difference in the marking now?
Yes, ma'am.
It was earlier 4 plus 4. It is now 5 plus 3. In 5 marks, title is going to be 1 mark. Numbering and indenting 1 mark. Key to the abbreviations and abbreviations 1 mark. And the notes that you have prepared, whether they are good, they are in synchronized order or not, that is going to be 1 mark. And summary is going to be 3 marks. Okay, when you're making notes, first what will you do? First is the first thing that you'll be doing, children?
Ma'am, read carefully the passage.
Reading of the passage.
Reading up carefully. And don't worry, this is for all, including Devansh. Don't worry. I will not tell you to do anything until you yourself confident about it. I'll take examples. Each and every point I'll discuss with you. And then after about 7 or 8 examples, then only we'll start making. Next, beta, actually I kept this. I did not do this with you people. I thought school will start with offline classes. Maybe this COVID goes away. And this part I wanted you to do in my supervision. That is why I had left this part only. But now I don't think there are any possible aspects, I mean, of school opening up as such offline. I thought, let me do it with you. So we'll be going very slowly so that you're confident. Logical sequence, format, headings, subheadings. And what are sub-subheadings, children? What do you mean by sub-subheadings?
Ma'am, to give more details about the
Headings of
subheading.
Heading.
Yes. And now all of you know what is indenting also. The last part, everybody is okay. The spacing from the margin. I just told you numbering and indenting is 1 mark. So you have to be very careful about this part also. Devansh, what is indenting? Tell me.
Ma'am, intended means a space given margin.
Yes, space from the margin, distance from the margin. We'll see more about it, but as of now, you should know what it is. Okay, let's see and discuss once again about abbreviations. I told you certain rules when you write abbreviations. Go through it once again. Again, we'll discuss. Biology students, you will have a class today, beta. Okay, the last period. Let's discuss the rule related to this vowels, beta, when you're writing abbreviations. Tell me, Bache.
Only the first letter in the vowel should be written, the last letter and the between letter should not be included.
Very good, beta. And there should be some relevance in the abbreviations that you're making yourself. Okay? It is not that you have to write science and you're starting with C or something. It should be a bit relevant, at least, of what you're writing. And abbreviations when you're writing, for example, give me a word which ends with a vowel, and then let us discuss what abbreviation we will go for it. Come on, children, give me a word which finishes with a vowel.
Classmate.
Principal.
Science.
The first child who gave me the word.
Classmate. Classmate.
Classmate. Okay. Tell me what different options we have for writing abbreviations for classmate.
MCSS, CLSS, we can say.
This is
CLSS.
abbreviation. Which letters you are using? So where is it an abbreviation, beta? It is not an abbreviation then. Make it shorter.
TLSMTE.
CLST.
मैम we can write ना मैम
T. Okay.
short भी है
CLST.
मैम हमें छोटा तो लिखना था ना long थोड़ी
तो छोटा ही तो कर रहे हैं. क्लासमेट को CLST लिख रहे हैं तो छोटा ही तो कर रहे हैं. बेटा लॉन्ग थोड़ी कर रहे हैं.
मैम CLSS नहीं होता
Beta make it as short as possible.
Ma'am, C.
CLSMT or something.
CLST. It
CLST.
can